Welcome to another episode of Raul's World of Synths. I am Raul. Today we'll be getting an overview of the Doepfer A111-1 VCO2, the so-called high-end voltage-controlled oscillator. I've had a few requests for this since I also have a series out there on its friend next door, the A110 standard VCO. So let's go ahead and get started. The Doepfer A111 is a voltage-controlled oscillator, as we said before, to be used as a sound source whenever you're generating patches in your Eurorack modular. It has about a 12-octave range and can produce 4 standard waveforms that are found here at the bottom. These are your outputs that are available simultaneously. You have a pulse, also referred to as a rectangle, a saw right there, a triangle, and then also a sine. So now let's get a better look at some of the other controls and features. Starting up top, right up here, we have our octave switch. This is going to allow you to adjust the octave of the fundamental of your VCO. To the right are your coarse and fine tune here on the right. And as we move a little bit further down, our next control that we run into is going to be the pulse width. So this is going to allow you to have manual control over the width of your pulse or rectangle wave. We'll get a good look at that in a little bit further of the demos. Below that is going to be a CV input for controlling the pulse width. So right there, you can use an external voltage like a envelope, an LFO, a sequencer, or really any other CV generating source found in your Eurorack modular. Now if we look up and to the left, up here on the top corner, beside the octave switch, you can see that we have 2 CV inputs. These are going to allow you to patch pitches at the 1 volt per octave standard. Now CV2 is a little bit different because it's going to allow you to attenuate the level of that incoming CV. Since on the A111 you do have 2 types of FM available, similar to the exponential FM that's available on the A110. On this one we have exponential available at CV inputs 1 and 2. And then that brings us to the next little section, our linear FM input right there, which is going to allow us to attenuate the incoming CV or audio rate source that you might be patching in. So this is an added feature of the so-called high-end VCO. Now as we move a little bit further down here in the corner, we have 2 synchronization inputs, and we'll go into more detail on these 2 inputs a little bit further in some of the demo segments. But for now, let's just say there's 2 types of inputs here. We have a input that's labeled S-Sync, which is going to be for soft synchronization, and then we're going to have an input that's H-Sync, which is going to be for hard synchronization. Now, if you watched the A110 VCO videos, I think I mentioned the synchronization input, but never actually did a demo on it. And even though this one technically has a flavor of hard sync, in the manual, if you read the manual for the A111, you'll see that it talks about how the hard sync for this one is implemented just a little bit differently than the way it's implemented in the A110. So be prepared to maybe see a comparison of the 2, or just talk about how those 2 kind of differ from each other. Now as we move forward, hopefully we'll hear some good examples. If you have suggestions for what you'd like to hear as we move along, please feel free to share that along this series. So for now, I'll leave you with just the sounds of some of the basic waveforms here. So let's just get a good listen at the sine wave. And let's see which frequency, or sorry, octave we're in. So let me set it in the center there. So there's our sine wave. And let me just go up. Jump too fast. And and some of the lower octaves you probably will not hear. Back in the center. Okay, let's hear a triangle wave. Triangle wave, we're in the center, going up again, up again, and there we are at the top. Back to center, down an octave, down an octave, and down an octave. Okay, let's move on to the saw wave. There we go. Oh, went a little bit too far. Let's go back down to 0. Down. Down again. And then down again. Okay. And finally, let's hear the pulse wave. Or rectangle. So going up. Let's go down. And let's just hear a little bit of pulse width changing. Just because I kind of love that sound. All right. So that about does it for the A111-1 high-end VCO basics. Just wanted to kind of go through some of the basic features of this VCO. Stay tuned for some audio demonstrations on this VCO, and we'll get a better look at some of the things that it's capable of. So thanks again for watching.